It was a sunny afternoon in the heart of Los Angeles, where the city's streets were bustling with life. Among the crowd of everyday people entering a popular coffee shop, one man stood out, not because of anything overtly flashy, but because of his subtle yet undeniable presence. He was in his early 40s, tall, with an athletic build that hinted at a life spent staying active and fit. His face was rugged yet familiar, marked by sharp features, a defined jawline, and a faint trace of scruff that gave him a charming but low-maintenance look. Despite the simplicity of his outfit, a grey hoodie, a pair of well-worn jeans, and white sneakers, there was something about him that drew glances. People began to whisper, trying to place where they'd seen him before. But what really grabbed attention wasn't his face or his stature. It was the hat perched on his head. A bright red MAGA cap, the iconic slogan "Make America Great Again," embroidered in bold white letters, stood out starkly in the liberal and progressive landscape of Los Angeles. The hat alone was enough to spark a reaction in this city, where wearing such a symbol could feel as provocative as waving a flag in the middle of a battlefield. The man seemed unbothered as he walked to the counter, calmly ordering a black coffee. As he waited, the energy in the room began to shift. A few customers pretended not to notice, while others exchanged glances and whispered among themselves. Some discreetly pulled out their phones, taking pictures or filming short clips, their faces alight with curiosity and suspicion. One woman leaned over to her friend, muttering, "Is that? No, it can't be. Why would someone like him wear that?" Still, the man carried himself with complete ease, as if he didn't notice the growing unease around him. Or maybe he simply didn't care. When his coffee was ready, he thanked the barista with a polite nod, picked up his cup, and headed for the door. As he stepped outside, the whispers followed him, and so did a few curious onlookers. On the busy sidewalk, a small group began to gather, their murmurs growing louder. One man, clearly agitated, called out, "Hey, why are you wearing that? Do you know what it stands for?" The man in the cap paused, turning to face the crowd. His demeanor remained calm, almost unnervingly so, as he addressed the question. "It's not about politics," he said in a measured tone. "This was a gift from someone I respect, a veteran who served this country. I'm wearing it to honor him, not to make a statement." His words seemed to surprise the crowd, but not everyone was convinced. A few voices rose in disagreement, accusing him of trying to excuse his choice to wear a symbol many saw as divisive. The tension escalated quickly. "Take it off!" someone shouted. "It's offensive!" yelled another. As more people gathered, the atmosphere became charged. The man adjusted his hat slightly, not in defiance, but as if signaling that he wouldn't be bullied into removing it. His calmness seemed to irritate one particularly vocal individual, who stepped closer, pointing a finger at the man's chest. "You think you can just wear that here? Do you know what that hat means to people?" The man took a step back, his hands raised slightly in a gesture of peace. "I'm not here to start trouble," he said. "I'm just—" But before he could finish, the individual lunged forward, grabbing for the hat. The man jerked his head back, trying to avoid the grab, and in the process stumbled slightly, bumping into another bystander. The coffee cup fell from his hand, spilling onto the pavement as the crowd gasped. The scuffle lasted only a few seconds, but it was enough to create chaos. A few people pulled out their phones to record, while others yelled for someone to stop the aggressor. It wasn't long before someone dialed 911, reporting what they described as a disturbance involving a controversial figure. The scuffle outside the coffee shop had drawn the attention of passers-by, and within minutes, a small crowd had gathered on the bustling Los Angeles street. People shouted at the man wearing the MAGA cap, some hurling accusations, others filming the confrontation on their phones. The man stood firm, adjusting his hat back into place after the earlier attempt to snatch it. His calm demeanor only seemed to irritate some in the crowd further. Amid the chaos, the wail of police sirens cut through the noise. A squad car pulled up to the scene, and two officers quickly stepped out, scanning the tense group. The man stood in the center, his towering frame making him an obvious focal point, while others around him gestured wildly, pointing at the red cap and shouting over one another. "He provoked us," yelled one person. "He's trying to start something," shouted another. The officers approached the man, their eyes narrowing as they took in the bright red cap. One officer, a middle-aged man with a no-nonsense demeanor, asked sharply, "What's going on here?" The man exhaled deeply, as if anticipating trouble. He spoke in an even tone, explaining, "I was just getting coffee and leaving. Some people didn't like the hat I'm wearing. Things got heated, but I didn't do anything to provoke anyone." His explanation was interrupted by a woman in the crowd who shouted, "He's lying. He knows exactly what that hat means." Another man chimed in, "He's trying to send a message, and it's offensive to everyone here." The officers exchanged glances, clearly assessing the volatile situation. The senior officer turned back to the man and said, "Look, we're going to need to ask you some questions. Step over here." The man complied, stepping to the side as instructed, but the crowd continued to shout, their voices growing angrier. Some were demanding that the police take action, while others debated among themselves whether this was an overreaction. The man remained calm, his broad shoulders squared as he answered the officers' questions. "I didn't come here to make a political statement," he repeated firmly. "This hat was a gift from a veteran I respect deeply. I'm wearing it for him, not for any other reason." The officer listened, but the rising tension from the crowd seemed to weigh heavily on the situation. After a brief discussion with his partner, the senior officer made the decision that shocked everyone. They placed the man in handcuffs. "You're detaining me?" the man asked, his voice steady, but with a hint of disbelief. "It's for your own safety and to prevent further disturbance," the officer replied. "We're not making an arrest. We just need to get you out of here to defuse the situation." The man didn't resist, allowing the officers to escort him toward the squad car. The crowd, however, erupted into a mix of cheers and boos. Some celebrated what they saw as justice, while others criticized the police for targeting the man rather than the aggressor who had tried to grab his hat. As the man was placed in the back of the squad car, cameras captured his composed expression. He didn't shout, argue, or fight back. Though his silence seemed to speak volumes, the scene outside the cafe remained chaotic, with people yelling and debating long after the car drove away. As the police car carrying the mysterious man disappeared into the distance, the videos taken at the scene began spreading across social media like wildfire. Within hours, hashtags like #MAGA incident and red cap mystery were trending nationwide. People analyzed every detail of the footage. The man's composed demeanor, His cryptic explanation about the hat being a gift and the chaotic confrontation outside the cafe. Speculation ran rampant as everyone tried to identify who he was. Then, the truth came out, and it shocked everyone. The man was none other than Chris Pratt, one of Hollywood's biggest stars, beloved for his roles in Guardians of the Galaxy, Jurassic World, and countless other blockbusters. Fans who initially defended the mystery man's right to wear the MAGA cap were stunned to learn he was a globally recognized celebrity. As the story spread, more details emerged about why Pratt was wearing the controversial hat. In a statement released through his publicist, Pratt explained that the cap had been a gift from a close friend, a veteran who had served in Afghanistan, and credited Pratt's movies with helping him through tough times. The veteran had personally handed Pratt the cap during a private meeting, thanking him for his positive impact. Out of respect and gratitude, Pratt decided to wear it, not realizing the uproar it would cause. Pratt's explanation added layers to the narrative. He wasn't trying to make a political statement. He was honoring a deeply personal connection. But the public reaction didn't stop there. Hollywood insiders, fans, and critics all weighed in. Some accused Pratt of being tone deaf, especially given the divisive nature of the MAGA slogan, while others praised his calmness under pressure and his loyalty to his friend's gesture. The fallout was immediate. Late-night talk shows turned the incident into a hot topic, and social media users flooded Pratt's accounts with both support and criticism. Clips of the confrontation outside the cafe were replayed on news channels worldwide, dissected for every nuance. In the days that followed, Pratt stayed relatively quiet, letting his initial statement speak for itself. Yet, his choice to wear the hat, whether intentional or not, sparked a firestorm of debates about the role of celebrities in political discourse, the meaning of free speech, and how symbols like the MAGA cap continue to polarize society. For many, the incident became a cultural moment, a rare intersection of fame, politics, and personal values that left a lasting impression. The man who had walked into a coffee shop as just another customer left as a lightning rod for one of America's most heated conversations.